Good morning, welcome to the Soul Factory. My name is Leah. This morning's Soul Flow is a nice juicy integration. So we'll spend a lot of time on the ground. We'll get to some standing balancing postures and take you down into a nice Shavasana. So let's get started lying on our backs. So come on down, bring your feet onto the floor. Separate your feet about hip width distance apart, or maybe a distance that feels really good for you. You can allow the knees to knock together so that the low back is in its neutral, happy curve. Let's take a moment to discover where we want to place the arms. You can place your arms by your sides or on your body. Just let yourself discover a comfortable shape to be. And begin to breathe. And for now, there's no perfect way to breathe. Just breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth. Good, let's do that again. Breathe in all the way. Open your mouth, exhale. Let's fill up the belly, fill up the ribs, fill up the chest and hold. And then exhale, let the breath go all the way out. Good. And then just feel as you begin to settle your mind, as you begin to drop into stillness, chaos around you begins to settle. And even if there is distraction in your room, or wherever you are right now, whatever is to arrive, we're just letting go of controlling the need to be perfect. There's no such thing as the perfect environment to practice, the perfect time, the perfect body. Instead, just right now, just dropping into just radical acceptance of where you are right now. Loving this breath as it comes all the way in. Take a clarifying exhale out. Good. Now let's bring the arms into a goalpost position. The elbows wide, elbows bent 90 degrees, and then just take your knees over to the left. You can keep the feet nice and wide. And then feel the legs passively flopping down. And let's give them a little more juice, right? So lengthen the front of your quad, rather your right quad. Lengthen that quad. Engage your right glute a bit to extend the front of your right hip. Let's take a breath there all the way into the chest, filling up. Then drop the navel, exhale. Good, over to the other side, knees over to the right. And as your knees fall to the right, let it be passive for a second. Now let's make it a little more active by extending the front of your left hip, by engaging your left glute, and not pressing the knees to the floor, but rather lengthening your knees away from your chest. Let's take a big belly breath there. And then relax the navel, relax the chest. Good, inhale your knees to the center. And then exhale your knees over to the left. Good, and we'll just do that a couple times. Inhale to the center and exhale to the right. Moving on your own breath pattern. Starting to massage your lower back. Noticing when you start to hold your breath, coming into a steady, rhythmic cycle. Good. Now let's return the knees to the center. Give your right knee a hug. Hold your right shin. Let's see if we can stretch the left leg forward in space. Press the left heel down onto the mat. Anchor your left thigh so much that your low back returns to its natural curve. Then on your exhale, gently guide your right knee closer towards you. Good. From here, you could circle your ankle just to juice up the ankle, bring a little fluid down there. Really nice. Let's take one more breath. Okay, let's try to hold the leg in place without using the hands. So now bring your arms out to a T position. Good, and then from here in that T position, breathe in. Empty your right hip to the floor. And start to create little circles of your right knee in one direction. Don't be too caught up in which way you go. Just making some circles, lubricating the right hip joint. Good, and you might even start to explore taking bigger circles by straightening that right leg any amount. Do your best not to weeble or wobble so much on the left side, but remain very still and anchored on that left side as you explore. Good. If you haven't already, go ahead and reverse your direction, playing with your circular designs. Are you still breathing on purpose? Awesome. Last 3, last 2, and 1. And then just shake the right leg down to meet the left leg, all the way down into Shavasana, number 1. And feel the length of your right side, maybe a little more release of that right side. Good breath. Nice, everyone. Okay, rebend the knees. Let's hug the left knee into your chest. Stretch your right leg out long. And then do your best to get the right thigh to the floor. Could you actually at least imagine your right hamstring meeting the mat? Mine certainly does not get all the way down, but I'm working on it, right? So press the right thigh to the floor, and then see if you can also soften the front of your left hip to guide your left knee closer to you. Notice if that sort of pulls the tailbone under. You want to keep the low back neutral. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you've circled the ankle, you could do that now. Good. Okay. Release the arms off to T position, and then start to create some circles with that left knee. Circles, starting to slow down. And then what if you could straighten the leg a little more, or maybe even all the way, discovering how big or how small you want to make those circles depending on how your body feels. And we want to breathe. Good. And continue to anchor the right side. So we're not in a hurry, remember. Now, good. Start to go the other direction. Nice. If you feel any clicking in your hips, I just invite you to lessen the diameter of your circles so that you don't feel that clicking. And then release your left leg all the way down to your right leg in Shavasana number 2. Let's breathe in and breathe out. Really good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Rebend your knees, please. And we'll take the hands down to tickle the heels. So I want you to find your heels with your hands, bringing your feet about hip distance or any distance that feels awesome for you. Good. Now, float your arms all the way over your head to the back of your mat and lift your hips up into the air. Good. The height of the hips doesn't really matter so much, but But I want your weight drawing back into your shoulders. Good, drawing back into your shoulders, breathe in. Then exhale, reach your tailbone under towards your knees. Good, again, inhale, the weight is back in the shoulders. Then exhale, let's slowly roll the spine down, one vertebrae at a time. So we're going from the upper to the middle, to the lower back, and release the tailbone down. Good, let's do that again. Tuck the tailbone. Scoop and lift your hips up away from the floor, guiding your weight back into your shoulders. Breathe in. Good, press the heels into the mat. I want you to feel a bit of grip in your hamstrings, a little heat just below the bum, the top of the hamstrings. Good, and slowly roll the spine back down, one vertebrae at a time. We're going to do one more like that on the way up. So slowly continue to breathe and roll back up. Good, holding the hips where they are, lower your arms back down to the sides of your mat. So your more traditional bridge now. You can grab the sides of your mat if you like. I like to scrunch up the sides, just really give it a good grip, and then tuck the shoulders way underneath of your back so that you're really standing on your shoulders, your chest is lifting. Hamstrings are engaged, and if you're feeling any cramming in your lower back, I want you to lower your hips a bit and then re-lengthen your tailbone towards your knees. Breathe in a steady breath. Relax your belly button down as you exhale. Relax the ribs into the body. And then feel a bit of gripping on your mat. You're holding that mat. You're slightly reaching that mat towards your heels. Good, let's come all the way up onto the tippy toes. Breathe in. You can release the hands and slowly, bone by bone, you roll it back down to the floor. Ooh, good. Let's take the hands to the belly. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Release. Take the arm, or rather your legs. Lift your legs up into the air. And just me lifting my legs as high as they want to go, I'm already feeling a little stretch in the back of the legs. So you can find that for you. You can flex through your feet. You can find a little lengthening in the back of your legs. If it ever feels like your nerves are being tugged and pulled and cranked on, then just back off. Okay? We don't want to feel that. We want to feel good, like we can always breathe really calmly. Good. Now we're just going to start to egg beater a little bit. So we're just starting to create these circular motions through the legs, and like you're scrambling eggs. Good. And then go a little faster, a little faster, a little faster, a little faster. Nice. Moving things around. Let's see if we can go the other way. There's always one way that's a little more challenging for me. I'm gonna try not to think too hard about it. Good, and then can you reverse it again? I want you to continue to breathe and notice if you're taking your attention into your shoulders. We're gonna start to take a little bit more activity in your belly, in your abdomen. Good, you might start to feel the hips maybe warming up a little bit, heating up a little bit. Awesome. Right from here, go into figure four. Right ankle over the left knee. You can hold your top shin and start to fold your knees in any amount. Good. I don't like to stress the grip here. So some of you, if the shin is what you got, you can hold the top shin. If it's too tiring, put the bottom foot down. Okay. Some of you might even reach underneath of your left thigh. We just want to keep that top foot really flexed. Great. You can fold your knees in a little deeper. Take a breath in. Breath out. Awesome. Switch sides. Left ankle over the right knee. And then your figure four that feels awesome for you. Good. Good. The times when it's silent, can you listen to the sound of your own breath pattern? Just turning down the volume of your thoughts so your breath can be more full. One more. Good. And release your legs to the mat. Okay, now we will eventually arrive in a seated position. And if you'd like to activate your core with me, bring your knees into your chest, tuck your chin, and start to rock and roll forward and back along the length of your mat. Yeah, good. And if you really want to activate your core, release your hands, tuck your chin a lot, and try to slow down your momentum and rock only from that power in your core. Good. More of a Pilates roll would be to connect your elbows and your knees together. And that one's a little more difficult, but especially in the morning. 3, 2, 1. Let's come up to tabletop. So swing the legs around to tabletop. Stack your hands underneath of your shoulders. Good. And just a few cat-cows on your own time. Drop the belly down, roll the shoulders back. You can look up. And on the exhale, see if you can empty all of the breath out. Even when you think you've emptied all of it, empty a little more. Good, let's come back to tabletop. Stick your right leg off to the side. Good. You can be on the instep of that right foot. You can tuck the left toes under, and we'll start to rock forward and back. So a little adductor rock back situation. Good. Sort of flossing the inner thighs. A little mobility going here. Awesome. Last 3 and 2 and 1. Find your center, and let's take that right foot and turn it out, turning the right heel in. Good, so you're lifting that right knee on top of the right heel, and then I want you to start to make some circular motions, yeah. Doesn't matter which direction, you'll get a chance to switch it in a moment. If you feel heavy on your hands, you can do what I'm doing here and just come up to the fingertips. Sometimes the wrists, right? The wrists are, all these little bones, not always supposed to take so much weight. It can be distracting from the intention of what we're doing. If you haven't switched your direction, make sure you switch it. When you are discovering your movement and where you're kind of sticky, it might feel interesting to you to discover new ways to move, right? So on my way, I'm like, okay, I could move that right hip back. I could reach my right hip forward, and I find something new. So let your practice unfold. Okay. Now let's come back to hands under shoulders. And we're going to take that right leg and sweep it over to the left corner of your mat and look over your left shoulder. Good, as you look over your left shoulder, can you find your right foot over there and feel a nice opening to your right side? Good, on your exhale, lift the right leg and bring the right knee to the outer right elbow or even outer right shoulder. Good, can you also bring the shoulder back? Good. And then bring the right foot over to the left. And then bring the right knee to the right outer arm. Let's do that a few times. Right foot over to the left. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale to the left. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Last time, inhale. And exhale, I want you to find the center. Put the feet down onto the floor, tuck the toes, and lift to downward facing dog. So we have an intermittent downward facing dog here. And just go ahead and paddle your legs right and left. maybe even wagging your tail. Good. And second side, set your knees down. Are you heavy on your wrist? Do you need to come up to the fingertips or the fist? Make that call. Okay, we're gonna stick the left foot off to the side. Good, you can be on the instep of that foot. I like to tuck my right toes, it just is more helpful for my knee, but you choose as you rock forward and back. Good. And if you're moving quickly, challenge yourself to go a little slower. So you're gonna match your inhales to coming forward and your exhales to shifting back. Good. As you come onto the hands now, we'll take a pause right here. Breathe in, breathe out. And we will lift the left leg up, or excuse me, turn the left knee up, turn the left toes out, left heel in, and then start your creative movement, your creative circles. Good. Remember, the objective is not to be heavy on the hands, but is to wake up some mobility in your hips. Good. Let go of any perfectionism here. There just is no such thing. We're not trying to fit into a pose. We're just letting the body speak. Really listening carefully, being guided into a shape that feels awesome. Good. And as you come back to hands, let's take the left foot and sweep it over to the right. Look over your right shoulder. Allow your left side to open and your right side to crunch. Good. Then on your exhale, let's lift the left foot, sweep the left knee towards the left outer arm, but have you also tweaked and turned your shoulders? Try to keep them square to the mat. Good. Inhale as you take the leg to the right. Exhale as you bring the knee to the left. Good. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. I find a softening, a little bend to the elbows actually is really helpful. Almost like a push-up action. 2 more. 1 more. Set your knees down, tuck your toes, lift to downward facing dog. Wrap the outer arms around towards your toes. Good. Feel heavy on the thumbs and the first fingers, the L shape of your hands. Good. Let's inhale. Guide your hips further back. Exhale. Step your feet to the front of your mat. Standing forward fold. Bend the knees any amount. Might feel safer with your hands on blocks, or happier with your hands on blocks. Maybe it feels really nice to grab the elbows and allow your forearms to hang downward. Let's breathe in. Empty the spine, empty the skull. Even rest the tongue and the mouth. Let's release the hands to a solid surface. Keep your hands on that surface as you sit your hips back into a chair. So hands down, butt low, toes light. And if you find you can't sit too deep, usually that's because the knees or feet are too close together. So allow your feet to go a little wider so that you can drop your butt lower. Yeah. Hands on something. Let's inhale. Start to flatten, lengthen the spine forward, and see how low you can sit your bum. Yes. Good. Draw the navel in to the spine. So you should feel this sort of vacuuming sensation of your belly button up off of your thighs. There's that support. When you find that support, you could bring your elbows to your thighs, or you could fly your arms back behind you, right? We want the weight in the butt and the legs and the heels. Awesome. Reach your fingers back if you're there. Sit your bum a little lower. Good. Inhale, shoulders back. Drop your butt into your skier. And as soon as you start to feel a little uncomfortable, that's when the pose begins. That's when the yoga starts, right? We better start breathing. Dropping the seat. As you're skiing downhill, we want to look forward. No Gwyneth Paltrow accidents here. Breathe in, drop your butt lower. Sign of the times. Inhale, stand up, reach up, go up. And then exhale, bring your hands to prayer. With this awareness in your legs, bring your awareness down into your feet. Keep it there. Breathe in like you're pulling energy up through the earth. Soften something else. Let it go. Awesome. Bring your feet in. Right under your pelvis, not too close, not too wide, just right for you. Inhale, stretch the arms up overhead, mountain pose. Exhale, swan dive forward into Uttanasana, forward fold. Empty the breath on the way down. Inhale, let's come halfway up, stretching the heart forward, even looking forward a bit without crunching the neck. Exhale, bend your knees in that skier position. Step your right foot back to a low lunge. Your left foot will be forward. Your right foot is moving back. Good. Set the knee down onto the floor, and with everything that's touching the ground, push down intentionally. Good. Can you keep the left knee stacked over the front heel? Raise your arms up over your head. Inhale, crescent moon. Exhale, vacuum more. Gorgeous. Lift up a little higher, breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's step back. Good. Inhale, hinge forward to a plank, shoulders over the wrist. Option to just hold your plank. If you're building core strength, I would stay here. Option to hinge forward, maybe even setting your knees down so that you can control your elbows as they scrape back into your body. As you come all the way down to the floor, forehead to the mat. Again, anything that's touching the floor, I want you to intentionally push down with it. Inhale, cobra pose, shoulders back, chest lifts. Exhale, push up to a plank or all fours. Good, let's inhale in the plank. Exhale to the downward facing dog pose. Bring your feet all the way together. Inhale, raise your right leg up. Exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. May not be in one step, that's not important. Let's let go of perfection, just arrive here. Set your left knee down. Push your feet, everything down intentionally so that you can rise up. Good. Float up, inhale. Reach up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Lift the back knee to straight. Step forward into skier, hands down, sit your butt low. Good. Inhale, take the arms back and stand all the way up, reach up to mountain. Hands to prayer, exhale. Now let's flow that. One breath to one movement. Here we go. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, standing forward, fold, empty the breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we step the left foot back. Set the left knee down. Inhale, crescent moon. Exhale, downward facing dog pose, step back.
Inhale, shift forward to plank where you will either hold or slowly control your push-up all the way to the floor. Inhale to cobra, or if you have a deeper back bend, remember it's about the length, not the height. Coming through your push-up, your plank. Come back to downward facing dog. Inhale. Settle, exhale. Raise your left leg high, inhale. Step your left foot forward, exhale. Good, lower your right knee and intentionally press down with your feet. Rise up to crescent moon, breathe in. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step forward to that low chair. Inhale, sweep the arms back and spring all the way up. Hands to prayer, exhale. Let's take a deep breath in. Audible breath out. Good. Raise the arms overhead, inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, standing forward fold, empty the breath. Let's come up halfway, inhale. Exhale, step your right foot back to a low lunge. Good. Walk your hands to your right side in a wide-legged forward fold. So as you turn to your right side, parallel your feet to each other. Look forward with the heart, right? So if your eyes were at your heart, look forward there. Breathe in. Exhale, intentionally push down with your feet. Good, as you get longer in your spine, you might be able to fold belly down, chest down, crown down. You might need to adjust your feet or bend your knees here. Some of you at home that are practicing, it's wise to put your hands on blocks if this feels really strenuous, or even put your hands on like a coffee table or chair. But if you're here with me in this room, I can see you're doing really well. You can always take your hands to your feet or somewhere on your legs, right? If you have a strenuous practice the day before, it might feel really good to massage your legs. Give them a little love. Let's inhale. Empty the breath out. Now as your head surrenders down, can you roll your shoulders back away from the floor? Bring your hands to the earth or blocks. Come up halfway, inhale. Then exhale, we're gonna stay very low, very grounded today. So I want you to bend just your right knee. Good. And then take your right hand and just move it over to your right. Good, we're sitting back into the heels quite a bit. Breathe in. Exhale, a little lift of the lower belly. Stay here, breathe in. Some of you feel so steady. You could even raise your hands up here for 5, flying, or even taking traditional Skandasana, God of War pose, sharpening your spears for 4, or just breathing where you are. 3, 2, and 1. Good. We crawl back into low lunge at the front of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, step back to your downward facing dog pose. Good. Inhale, let's raise the right leg up. Exhale, step the right foot forward to a lunge. Good. Ground your lunge first, lowering your hips. Keeping your back thigh up. I'm gonna turn around. You stay where you're at and walk your hands over to the left. That would be a different kind of show. And I'm not sure I'm prepared for that, okay? So inhale, let's take a flat back. And exhale, forward fold any amount. Now we're gonna move a little bit. So inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Then exhale, sit your bum low, and then take your arms back to airplane. So we're in like a flying bear squat. Let's take a breath in. Sit your butt a little lower. Use your strong legs to stand up to star pose. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, release your arms down behind your back to interlace. Now, as you interlock your hands, you could discover that that's a really good idea or not so good idea. And if it's not a good idea, grab a strap or a belt or something that you have around you. Great. Move the shoulders back, breathe in. Exhale, create this action of pulling your arms apart. Good. Once you have that, inhale, open the chest. Exhale, vacuum up the legs like you're pulling up the earth. And folding forward and down slowly with the bind. Good, so there's still this energy of pulling the legs up. It's safe to bend your knees, but we don't want the shoulders forward on the front of the body. You know, if they land there, it's okay, but do your best to move them back. Yes, if it feels awesome for you, you could bring your arms away from your back. For me, I'm getting a nice stretch here regardless, so breathe in. Breathe out. Release your hands down to the mat. Let's lift up halfway. Inhale. Now I want you to bend your left knee. Yes, good. Bend your left knee into Skandasana. So this might be where you're at. This is great. We're feeling some things. Maybe you can play with a little more strength in the pose. Like lifting your belly up, leaning your weight into your heels. If you're feeling free, fly the arms somewhere or sharpen your spears. We're here for 5, 4. You're breathing. 3, 2, 1. Release your hands down and crawl to the front of your mat. Yeah, if you get turned around, it's not an issue. No drama. We just step back to downward facing dog. Good. Arriving your down dog, I want you to take a deep breath in. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Do you have even weight on both hands? Can you come forward to plank now? Inhale. Good. Holding. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in. Back to down dog. Exhale. Keeping the even weight in both hands. Gorgeous. Keeping that theme of the hips today. Let's keep your feet together and raise your right leg high. Inhale. Then exhale, bring your right knee over to the left elbow. Stretch your right foot off to the left side. Yeah, it might be a little awkward, so you can go up or down. Just do your best to guide your right hip back and your heart forward through your arms. Yeah. Okay, can you sit your hips down onto the floor? Awesome. Oh, okay, let's make that L shape of the legs once again. Okay, breathe in. And then exhale, climb down onto the elbows. And it's not a goal to make this a difficult situation, okay? So if you are feeling a lot, maybe lower the right leg down towards your left foot. But ideally, both legs are straight-ish, okay? Slide your right hip back, the one that's on the floor, draw it back to your left heel, and then guide your chest forward. Take a breath in there. Then exhale, you can square your ribs to the floor. Awesome. If you feel a stretch, cool. If you don't, cool. Some of you can come down onto your what are these, your palms? I actually find sometimes more benefit in staying on the elbows and practicing that gorgeous length in the spine. Okay, we're going to come up to your hands. Look over your left shoulder. Look over your left shoulder. That's the direction you're gonna go. So look at your left foot. Turn everything towards your left foot into a wide-legged forward fold. And here we are. And if you're on a circle mat, that's great. If you're on no mat, then you have nothing to worry about. Take a breath in. Turn your belly towards your left leg. And let's take a forward fold of any kind, leaning in the direction of your left leg. Good. When life starts to feel a little chaotic and we don't know which direction we're going, we don't know where we're being pulled, there's a lot of things that we think we should be doing, right? Can you just take this moment to pause? Just press the pause button. Take a deep inhale. Empty the exhale. Just be right here, wherever you are. No expectations. Just full acceptance. Knowing that you're making the best decisions that you know how to make. To flow as you are. Right, leaning into the directions that feel free, that feel good to lean into. Just like the practice doesn't have to be so hard, right? I don't think life has to be that hard either. Just take pause, take a breath in, breath out. Okay, so slowly, empty your right hip to the floor, walk your hands back up. Okay, if you're with me, cool. Look over your right shoulder. If you're not, fine. We're gonna come onto our bellies. Whoop, bellies! And we land at the front of the mat. Good. Let's take a cobra. Just inhale a baby cobra. And exhale, slither back to downward facing dog pose. Okay, y'all, inhale, lift your left leg high. And exhale, bring your left knee to your right elbow. Twist. Send your left foot off to the right. And then look down right to the center of your mat. For me, there's a nice heart chakra there. So put the bum down in the center of the hands. And then look at your L. How's that going? Good. Awesome. Breathe in. Turn your belly forward. And you can start to climb down onto your elbows. Even though I could get my ribs to the floor, back bending, that would cause me to back bend. So that's not really very helpful for me. So for me, it's about drawing my ribs up away from the ground and then turning the ribs towards the floor. And I feel a nice twist. And just sort of this opening through the legs. Not a huge stretch, but just a nice freedom. 2 more breath cycles. Good. Can you crawl your lower spine out of your pelvis and let the middle spine and upper spine also stretch forward? Okay, come on up to your hands. Look over your right shoulder, locate your right foot. I want you to stretch through your right leg. Lengthen your right leg. Let it pull you all the way into a wide leg forward fold. Before we fold, we'll just sit. Good. Ladybird agrees. We're going to turn to our right leg. Turn to your right leg, and then your capacity of forward fold, start to lean in that direction. Now this side I'm backing off a little bit just to show you at home, it doesn't have to be deep to be effective, doesn't have to hurt to work. As my friend Alyssa says, doesn't have to hurt to work. Just inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn and fold any amount. This one's a little longer hold, so continue to just watch the breath as it rises all the way to the peak of the mountain, holding there at the top. And watching the breath slide all the way down to the valley,
being there at the bottom of the breath before you return. What's your head doing? Can you position your head in a way that adds value to this moment? Good. There's no right or wrong, just breathe. Empty your left hip to the floor. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. Start to walk your hands back up slowly. And very mindfully, you'll turn over your left shoulder, looking over your left. Slither on to your belly. Good. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to take things in the opposite direction for a second. So bring your right arm to a T position or a goalpost. Now, if you goalpost, it's a little more intense. If you straighten the arm, I find it's a little more to work with there. So up to you. I'm going to bend my arm today. Look to your left. Look away from your bent arm. Bend your left knee and start to roll onto your right hip. Oh, got a little pop there. So we want this to be effective for the right shoulder and chest, not necessarily the lower body. So just position your lower body in a way that is not distracting to the stretch in your upper half. Good, let's inhale. Exhale, slide your right shoulder blade down your back. It's very subtle, very subtle. Come back onto your belly and decide straight left arm or bent left arm. Bend your right knee. And you're just looking away from the goalpost arm or the arm that we're stretching, okay? So you're gonna roll onto your left hip and you can stretch the leg back or scorpion the leg. Good, so your left shoulder is not creeping up to your left ear. Your left shoulder is so kindly drawing down your back, away from your ear. Good, let's inhale and exhale. Come back to your belly. Place your arms in the push-up position, like a tricep push-up. So traditional cobra shape, elbows into the body, hands flat. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, press up to all fours. Let's make a little stop through cat pose. And remember that technique of emptying the breath all the way out, which, good, hopefully is every breath cycle, but it doesn't always happen that way. So breathe in. Now exhale all the breath. One more time. Stay in cat round. Good, child's pose. Sit back onto your heels. Good, for more round in your back, you can bring your knees together. For less rounding in your back, knees apart. Place your forehead down on palms or on floor. Deep breath in. Audible breath out. One more time, breath in. Breath out. So let's begin to come into a seated position. Good. Just swing the legs around. Just get there in a way that feels good for you.
Okay. How are you feeling so far? Good. Okay. Stretch the legs out in front of you. Bring the arms forward like Frankenstein. Yes. Inhale. Remember all that stuff touching the floor? Can you put your awareness on the stuff that's touching the floor? And then in your mind, you're mentally grounding heels, calves, hamstrings, sitting bones. And what if you could push down with all that stuff? You'll feel it engage as you push down. As you push down with the glutes, hamstrings, heels, calves, you'll feel this lifting, this accelerating upwards action. Breathe in. And as you exhale, guide your belly button back, start to round through your lower spine. As you come back about halfway, let's pause when things get a little tough. Good. Stay and breathe. Now I want you to breathe all the way out so the pressure of your belly goes in. Let's do it again. Inhale. You can even touch your belly. Exhale, all that pressure is going down. Take it a little lower, breathe in. Exhale, pressure down. One more. Pressure down. And roll all the way onto your back. So very good. And you made it. Empty, empty, empty the breath out. Good. Bring your knees into your chest. All the way into your chest. And let's not hold the knees here, but bring the arms out to the side. And then can you keep the knees into the chest? As you take your knees over to the left, try to keep them in that same tucked-like position. And just for now, they're not going to touch the floor. But notice my right shoulder does come up, so can you also keep your right shoulder on the floor? And then come back to center. Exhale. Good. Knees over to the right. Inhale. Stay as you exhale. Empty left shoulder onto the mat. And the knees back to the center. There's a few windshield wipers. Inhale, knees to the left. Keep them in that tuck. And exhale to the center. Inhale, knees to the right. And exhale to the center. To the left. And stay in your twist. We'll take a few breaths here. Good. Let's bring your knees to the midline and then reverse to the other side. Take a moment to adjust the spine and turn the rib cage to the left. Might take a little bit of arranging. We'll arrive here with a deeper breath in and an audible breath out. As those thoughts begin to creep in the stillness, there's no need to identify with what's happening up there. Good, just letting the thoughts pass through, just like this breath is flowing in and flowing out. Good, come back to the center. And we'll make our way into our final resting pose. And that could mean if you don't have any props and you don't feel
happy lying flat on your back. You know, you could just bend your knees here. I like to put pillow when I have one, just putting pillow or bolster under the legs or even something under the back of the neck. Before we drop in, I want you to take a really deep breath all the way into the belly, to the ribs, to the chest. Really fill up all the air. Just like you're releasing a balloon, just no pressure, just air out. Breathe in, air out. Place your hands behind the back of your head. And you're so gently just giving yourself a little head massage. Just bringing the thumbs to the base of your neck. And I really like to do this at the beginning of the day, so setting up for the day, just so we start the day with a calm nervous system. You've got all these nerves bundled up, a really big thick one too, called the vagus nerve that runs from the brain all the way into your major organs, right, innervating the body. So just giving it a little massage, letting your head heavily sink into the hands. Gently place your head onto the floor. I'm just going to take the two palms to the eyebrows. You're just providing a little tiny pressure to the third eye center. Breathe into your palm. And exhale, just a little pressure as you draw the hands wide to the temples. Good. You can let your wandering hands into your scalp or whatever feels good. When you're ready, you can just rest the arms down anywhere. For Shavasana, your final resting pose. Good. I'm going to come up, but I want you to stay here with your eyes closed. And today we've used the word empty a lot. So intentionally empty the vessel. Empty the mind. Empty the weight of your body into the floor. Feel the rivers that flow through you. The rivers of prana, life force energy. Flowing through you, emptying into a pool at the base of your feet. So right now, you can keep your eyes closed as we are blessed with the symphony of ladybird snores. Remembering that
There's no such thing as the perfect environment, perfect life, the perfect body, the perfect time. As movement, chaos happens around us, peace remains within. That's a choice that we make every day to not buy into the drama, to the noise, but to just be wherever you are, fully committed to radically loving yourself and this experience of living with the good, the bad, and everything in between. If you are ready to come up to a close with us, you may. And if you need a little extra time, whether you are in this room with me today or you are at home, this is your time. You can stay as long as you need. Those of you that are ready to move on, then go ahead and please bring life back into your body by breathing deeper, longer, fuller, and letting your body move and roll over to one side. And come on up to a seated position where we will bring hands to prayer. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Lift your thumbs to your third eye center. And from heavens to earth, we bow forward with so much gratitude for this practice and each other. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Later. Oh.